You're listening to The A to Z of Spirituality by Divine Soul Yolandi Bosel. I work with light workers and starseeds who are ready to transform their lives and shine. I will be covering loads of topics relating to spiritual growth, and I will teach you what I have learned on my own journey so far. A journey of connecting with my sacred Mary Magdalene sisterhood, my cosmic lineage, my earth ancestors, sacred sites around the world, and my own divine soul. So, if you're ready for some profound ideas and deep spiritual connection, make sure you join me today. Grab a cuppa and let's shine. Welcome, beautiful divine soul, to part 2 of B is for Boundaries. So if you haven't listened to part 1 yet, I would really urge you to stop this recording right now and have a listen to part 1, where I speak a little bit more about boundaries, about the ability to say no, and really just understanding the concept of our boundaries. So today, what we're going to be talking about in part 2 is really the understanding of boundaries as a superpower and working with some strategies, looking at the divine masculine and feminine, and also assertiveness weaved into all of that. Okay, so in the previous episode, I asked you to start playing around with the concept of saying no. Okay. So that was sort of part of your homework, and I do hope that you started just like literally touching on it, feeling what it feels like for you. I know it's really uncomfortable to start, but the thing is, we have to start somewhere, right? It's like I always say, it's like that whole riding the bike thing. We have to start somewhere. I also asked you to have a look at 3 areas in your life. So we looked at work, at friends, and at family, and identifying people there, issues that we were having there, so that we can work with that today. So what I really want to do today is I want to take these areas, break them down, and help you to identify ways that you can start saying no, that you can start actually stepping back into your power. So the more I was thinking about boundaries and the more I sort of delved deeper into it to prepare for you today, I just had this like amazing thought that boundaries is a superpower. Okay. So why is it a superpower? And I mean, if I think about boundaries, it's about containing my energy. If I think about boundaries, it's about honoring my energy, who I am, what is important to me. So it's all about stepping back into my own power. Because if I am boundaryless, I am literally like everything of me is flowing towards everywhere else, but nothing is within me. I'm overgiving the whole time, right? And last week I said to you guys about like the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and what we are really striving to do at this point in time, in my opinion, is to get the masculine and feminine energies within ourselves back into balance, right? So that whole sacred feminine is about um, being able to be compassionate, but also be in her power, to be able to want to help and to give, but again, like pulling it all back in and being it's almost in that wise woman space where she wants to understand why she's doing things. She's not doing things out of the need to be wanted or held by other people. She's completely in her own power. Okay. And then the masculine side, where it used to be, if you think about the patriarchy and how things were, it was very dominant, and it was like sort of almost cruel in its way. It was forceful, but yet now we can bring that masculine in to support the feminine, and it holds space for the feminine. It works with the feminine. It lovingly understands why it needs to honor itself, right? So I keep on like having this vision in my head of the circle, and you guys know how much I love working with the concept of the circle and the dot in the middle. So I'm the dot in the middle. My essence is the dot in the middle, and the circle is the boundaries that I create around myself. Okay. And I'm not saying we build up walls and we be in that space where we over masculinize. I don't even know if that's a word, but like we go to the extreme of the unbalanced masculine, right? No, we have those walls so that they're almost like, the word that comes to me is fluid, so that we can give out, but we can also receive. So as I'm saying this, I'm seeing this beautiful netted image, right, where the water can come in and it can come out, but it is contained. It is not letting itself leak dry and be completely demolished, be like completely sucked dry of energy. Okay, so the whole thing with the boundaries is that you need to step back into your power. And for me, our journey back to our power is one of the foundational things about knowing yourself better, about becoming you again, is stepping back into your power. But you can only step back into your power when you understand yourself, when you understand your boundaries, when you understand your truth, because all of those things are so linked, right? So that's why this is actually such an important subject, and we brush it off. And boundaries almost becomes, for me, when I look at how some people present it, or I think about like how we treat it, it's such a it's such a neglected space. It's such a sad little space because it feels like this pathetic little space. Yet boundaries for me is everything. It is the quintessential part of you as a person is your boundaries, right? It's just like it needs to be honored and held. Okay, so you stepping back into your power, first thing to do is get those boundaries going. Okay, so when I looked at the boundaries today, and I was thinking about like strategies to give you and what to work with, the word assertiveness fell into my lap again. And then I was thinking about assertiveness, and I was thinking, okay, I can only be assertive for me when I know what my truth is, when I understand why I'm being assertive. Again, the unbalanced masculine in us will just be no because no is no. But that's not right. Okay. The balanced masculine in us is like, I'm assertive because my truth is X. Okay. So now let's take an example. So, so say I'm struggling with my time and I'm overworking and overgiving and all of that. Why is my time important to me? Like, I need to understand, like, why is this something? What is my truth around my time? Okay, so what is my time linked to? My time is linked to my energy. So I'm going to speak about my truth about time. So time for me is one of my most precious resources because I am obviously very much in the 3D mindset that there's 24 hours in a day, of which I personally like to sleep at least 8 or 9, depending. So that doesn't leave me a lot of time in my life. I also like to spend time with my family. I also like to spend time with myself. So if I had to take a 24-hour day and I started breaking it down, my truth about my day is that it needs to be balanced. Okay, it needs to be in the space where I only give so much to my work, I only give so much to my family, and I give so much to myself. Okay, so I need to start understanding why is my time important. So if you are, for instance, in a space where someone is basically hogging your time, you need to understand why you don't want them to do it. You need to sit down and understand, like, this is my truth around my time. And if I truly believe it is important for me to spend time with my family, if I truly believe it is important for me to spend time with myself and recuperate my energy and like really regroup, because I'm going to be at maximum potential, then that is my truth. Okay, and I need to stand behind it, because if I'm wishy-washy about shit in my life, no one else is going to take me serious. Okay, so that's why for me is like, I'm very clear about my truths, because if I'm clear about my truth, I can back it up, I can stand behind it. And if someone wants to argue with me, if someone wants to question me, if someone wants to understand something about me, I can in a loving way be very clear about why these things are important to me. So this assertiveness concept needs to almost be, this is why you need to understand your truth, because you can't be assertive if you go, well, I don't know why my time is important to me, I don't know why my energy is important to me. Then how are you ever going to win any argument? How are you ever going to be in your power, standing firm? Okay, but I think so often we've forgotten how to connect with our truth. We've forgotten what it is that's important to us because we're so busy listening to everyone else, or just sort of going with the crowds and the big waves and flowing with the rest of the world, that we are not really taking time to understand our truth. Okay, so for me, understanding your truth is like so important for the strategies that we're going to work with today. So I'm going to ask you to take time to understand your truth whenever you are working on a strategy of implementing boundaries in certain areas of your life, because you need to understand why this is important, because if it's not important to you, sure as hell ain't going to be important to anyone else. Okay. And for me, if I always show up in my truth, people take me serious. Okay. I can see the difference between me being wishy-washy about certain concept ideas, or me being really stern and strong in my belief in my truth, and how that affects other people. Now, again, just on this note, obviously my truth can be vastly different to your truth. Your truth might be that I want to work 12 hours a day and I don't want to spend time with other people, and that's fine. But you need to own your own truth, okay? All our truths are different, but that is sort of that's the baseline. You need to know what the hell you want so that you can ask for it, okay? Because boundaries is all about a need. It's a need that needs to be fulfilled. And if I'm not maintaining my boundaries, I'm not fulfilling the needs of myself within me. Okay. And for me, I think it's also important to note that my truth is very much linked to my soul. Okay. My soul, it it almost like it not dictates, but we have a beautiful collaboration, me and my soul, where I'm forever checking in to feel if it feels good. Okay, if my body is open about the truth, like I always say to you, you need to feel into your physical being. If I'm open about something, it is my truth. If I think about time, for me, it's just like if I think about lack of time, my whole body constricts. If I think about stressing about needing to organize and be, it's like, no, my whole body just pulls together and I feel so uncomfortable. But if I think about owning my time, making space for things, everything feels open and free, right? I'm in that beautiful flowing energy. So that is my truth about time. I feel good about it. I feel relaxed about it. Me and my soul are like, yes, time is important. Let's take some for ourselves. So this is, for me, this concept is that truth, and that is linked to your ability to be assertive. Okay, so if we now start looking at certain scenarios, so I asked you to look at those areas, and I'm gonna sort of skim over some of those areas today and give you some examples, because I want you to take whatever you came up with last week in terms of people who are messing with your boundaries, or who you are allowing to mess with your boundaries, because we all know it's about you allowing it. I want you to work with those. Okay, so the first one we'll work with today is, for instance, at your work, at your job. I'm going to take an example of overworking, just because I know so much about that, and that used to be my my standard way of doing things. Okay, so we start with, I look at work. Okay, let's say I'll take an example of, okay, so my belief, check how my throat's going here when I'm trying to talk about these things. It's so beautiful. I love how I'm releasing all these old ideas. Okay, so when I was at work before, my belief was that I needed to work really hard, and the harder I worked, that people would recognize me, and then I would get my promotions and I would win the awards and all that type of stuff. And like I said to you last time, then basically what happened was my boss just kept on like winning all the awards, and even after that boss left, the next boss came, kept on winning the awards, because our area was so amazing. But everyone else, including myself, we were so like working towards this, and then the person sitting at the top always got all the rewards, right? So I wasn't there being assertive about my time. Why? Because I didn't understand what it meant to preserve my energy. All I wanted to do was to be acknowledged. I wanted to be seen, and I wanted people to know who I was, right? That was way before I even like woke up to who I really am. So for me, if I look back at that now and I'm going, okay, so if I understood why my time was important then. So back then I didn't have kids. It was like lovely not single life, but with a partner that was flexible. There was no boundaries in terms of like, you need to be home, spend time with me. So I didn't really have boundaries with my time then, because I didn't think about things that was important for me. I didn't think about like replenishing my energy. I didn't think about children, all that type of stuff. Now today, if I look at my work, my time is important because I need to spend time with my kid because I want to. I need to spend time with my husband because I want to. I need to spend time with myself because I want to. Okay, so those three things take up X amount of my time. My truth is that those things are super important to me because those three things lead to balance in my life. Okay, so as much as I love my work, I'm also understanding that those three parts of me need to all get a space. Okay. And I value those things. They are super important to me. They mean so much to me. So think about your time. Okay. If you're overworking, think about your time. Why is your time important? What do you need to do for yourself in that time? Okay. I need to, when it's me time, I need to sit, drink a cup of tea. I need to journal some. I need to read a book. I need to be in nature. I need to go for walks. I need to do all these things to make myself feel fabulous, okay? To make my being happy. I need to be out there, not be behind my desk, all of those type of things, okay? Those are really important for me because they give me energy to give to my work, okay? So think about your time. Think about like what's important about it. What is your truth about your time? And value it, okay? And also understanding that worth comes in here big time. So I know that often we are very lost on our priority lists, okay? So even when I was naming the time things, you'd see that I said my child, my husband, me, okay? Now, my kid is very important to me, so he will most of the time be way on the list. And my husband's really important to me. But my time is also important to me. Okay, so I make sure that I'm aware of what I'm saying and how I am doing things. But if you are kind of like, again, putting your time out there for other people, even if it's people that you love dearly, you need to make sure that there is that balance, because I know I do balance really well now because I've practiced for years, but I do balance well. So my time is always going to be in there. There's always going to be space for me in there. Okay. So you just need to sit with this. Like, my worth is, these things are making me feel good. These things are making me feel like a better person when I'm doing them for myself. Okay. That's where the worth things comes in. It's just, it makes me expand. It makes me grow. It makes me connect with things. Like, I understand how I need it. Okay. It is so important that I look after my energy, because then I can give more to other people, but I can be in a good space. That's the most important thing. So I'm first, and then I can give to everyone else. Okay. So you always need to bring worth back in here. But when my boss is more important or my company is more important, everything else falls by the wayside, because all of my energy resources, which is rather, as much as we love to say our energy is infinite, it needs to be replenished. We're not these magical beings that just have an infinite amount of energy. As much as we like to think we are, we aren't. We have to stop. We have to sit and connect with nature. We have to be with ourselves, all that type of stuff, so that we can replenish, so that we can fill up the cup, like I said last week. Okay, so that worth, I'm worth replenishing my energy for. I am worth all of these things. Okay, so you need to, with the work thing, start thinking about, what's my truth? How can I go to my boss and go, I've only got 8 hours, you're giving me 12 hours worth of work. Okay. This is my problem. We have to be clear on why we cannot deliver what they are asking us to deliver. Okay. Because if you keep on doing this to me, I'm going to fall on my face and basically die of exhaustion. And then I'm going to be of no use to you in a month's time if we keep this up. Okay. So as much as you think you can push yourself, and as much as you think you can be okay, be realistic. Be realistic in why you need to go and be assertive and step up and speak up and start saying no. Okay, so you need a very clear idea, because if your boss comes to you and says, oh, I've got another project for you, go, sorry, actually, working at max capacity here, have only got 30 minutes a day spare. What can I help you with that will fit into that space? Boom. Okay, that's it. No one's going to fire you. No one's going to. This is always the thing, is like I said before, it's like we make up these massive, elaborate stories, but people understand. People truly, truly understand when you can say, listen, I've done the maths. This is what's happening. I only have capacity for that. Okay, that's a strong, solid argument of being the baseline for being assertive. Okay, so that's where you need to go. You need to be in that argument with all of your ammunition. Okay, and it doesn't mean it has to get ugly or whatever, because the divine masculine and feminine, when in balance, can be very calm, clear-headed about stuff, and be very factual about stuff, and be very firm about stuff, but still not be a ranting, raving, lunatic, screaming, crying, but just be going, these are the facts, this is what I can give you, boom, love you, that's it. Okay, and that's why I want you to start thinking about those things, because in our heads we create these scenarios of people screaming and freaking out and firing us at like, it's not going to happen. Okay, seriously, you need to just be in that like realistic space. I've seen it time and time again. Okay, so it's really about being assertive. And the minute that you are assertive, do you know how much easier your life will be at work? The minute that you value your time, do you know how much better you will be performing? Because people will see you in a different light. Okay, the minute I changed my boundaries at work, I got so I got so much more out of my job. Okay, people started taking me so seriously because I was firm about what I believed I couldn't do, right? And even if I turned things down and I just said, no, this is not going to work, I don't have enough time for this, like, people still they valued me so much more, because I wasn't just being this floppy, limp little basket case who was going, okay, let me just do that for you. People want assertive, but not assertive in a bad way. Assertiveness, it's got such bad masculine connotations to it. So be assertive in the way that you are firm, but still in your feminine energy. Like, I really care for you, but I cannot do this for you, right? You need to find your balance. You need to find that place in you where it feels good, okay? And then start implementing it. But the underlying thing here is, what's your truth about this, okay? Your counter argument and your truth is what's going to set you free. Okay, so now that's for work. Okay, so now if you get to family, like, say there's this whole thing about like overgiving in your family. Again, what's your truth about your time and your energy? How much guilt and obligation is underpinning your overgiving? Okay, say for instance you are spending a lot of time giving to certain family members, you're giving say financial resources to people, they're taking advantage of you in that regard, whatever it is for you, but it's that whole thing of overgiving. Why are you overgiving, right? We need to first understand, like, why are we overgiving, and then what is my truth about the resources that I'm giving you? Is this whole thing about me overgiving because I'm feeling guilty about something? Is it because I'm feeling obligated? Why am I feeling guilty? Why am I feeling obligated? You need to figure out why you are doing these things, because when you understand why you're doing it, you can very easily stop, okay? Or you can think of different strategies. So say that you are giving a lot of your time to certain family members. How can you step back from that? How can you lighten the load on yourself and start giving responsibility to other people? Again, asking for help there, okay? Because support is a big thing. So you need to then be clear about what your truth is again here, okay? Why am I doing this? And why do I want to or not want to do this? This is what we spoke about last week. So the strategy is to understand where am I coming from, and based on the reasoning here, I can then go, okay, this is how I'm going to tackle the problem. I'm going to step back. I'm going to speak to this one, get them to help me there. I'm going to employ someone there to take care here. Whatever it is for you, however you can do it. But so often we feel like, I have to do this because it is my parents. No, actually, we have to understand that there are certain things that we have to do, but certain things that we don't have to do. Okay. Sometimes they'll be better off without you. Sometimes people will be okay without you thinking that you need to save them. Okay. Thinking that you need to be obligated to do this for them. They are quite capable of taking care of themselves very often. If they are not, how can you call in other people to support you? Okay, so it's very much about like learning again your boundaries with family members. As much as we love them and we understand this, we need to make the choices that also doesn't kill us in the process. Because if you're giving all your energy to your parents, for instance, what's happening with you? What's happening with your own family? What's happening with your life? Are you really thinking that it's worth you killing yourself in the process, or creating disease within yourself in the process, to do things for them that someone else could possibly be doing? Somehow you can actually manage this completely differently. Okay, there's so many alternative ideas and ways of fixing a problem, but we get so wrapped up in the, I have to do this is the way things have always been. Well, change it. Okay, start thinking about new ways of doing this, and then again being assertive. I do need my time, I do need my space. Asking for help. Okay, so these are basically the things that I wanted to get you to look at. So please take some time, sit with this stuff, write it down. I always think if we put energy into something, then a lot of change happens. Okay. If my intention is to start setting my boundaries and being more assertive, if I know where to start, goodness me, I can change everything in my life, right? I can really help myself so much. No one can fix boundaries for you but you. And that for me is like really important. You need to understand that you are the captain of this little boundary ship, right? You have to ride the waves and do the thing, but all of this comes down to you believing and understanding what your truth is about what's important. Okay, so the whole time I keep on coming back to what's my truth about my time, my worth, who I am, what I need. Because at the end of the day, if you're not okay, no one else is going to be okay. Things are going to go pear shaped. Okay, so that's really important. And just a last little thing, if you were having issues with friends, for instance, um, and again, guilt, feeling that you also need to reciprocate, those type of things. Again, what's your truth around it? Okay. Often friends are very much about overgiving and not receiving the same amount of energy. Why are you in that friendship? What is the reason? Question yourself, guys. Question yourself every single day. Why am I doing these things? And that's really important. Okay. So that's my little, um, yeah, my podcast about boundaries. So take some time, do the work, and then free yourself from all the shit that drags you down. That's my best way of dealing with my life, and why things feel a lot less heavy in life. It's because I take the time to unpack them. I take the time to actually delve in and then see what the truth is. Okay. And you don't always need a therapist to tell you this stuff. A lot of this stuff, when we just start thinking about it, is so easy to deal with. Okay. So that's why we're here, to help each other and to give each other some direction in life. Right. So the next episode is going to be C is for choice and consciousness. Okay, so I will be putting that out in a couple of weeks, and until then, I wish you all the best with the boundaries. Keep saying no, please. Step back into your power, and just own your boundaries. It's so important. Okay. And if you enjoyed the show, please share with your friends. Please give us a star rating as well. That would be awesome. And have a beautiful day further. Thank you.